Hi, welcome back. My name is Roxanne Pacheco. I'm a licensed clinical therapist, trauma and preventive medicine certified as well. It is good to see you for one more week of learning about behavior and how this behavior affects not only ourselves, but how it affects those around us. So through these past weeks, we have been talking about, what are some of the things that affect us? What are some of the things that perhaps as children affected us? And we have come to a conclusion that we have a lot of power within ourselves to heal. But I also want to take one step back and talk about how these behaviors, how these experiences, generational patterns end up creating the person that you have become up to this point. If we look carefully, what we see in the therapeutic setting is that many times childhood experiences, generational patterns, things that you learned from mom, dad, grandma, grandpa, observing domestic violence, or being a survivor of sexual abuse or any other type of abuse, will leave you with a label that you begin to believe, and you begin to believe it so firmly that your life actually becomes an affirmation that that label is accurate. What this label is I'm not good enough. And what this I'm not good enough begins to do is that it begins to create in you a system of being hypercritical with yourself. A system in which you begin what we know as people-pleasing behavior. You want to please everybody because you are so afraid of not being liked. You are so afraid of not meeting expectations. So your value is dependent on what do other people say about me. Because at your core, you firmly believe you alone are not good enough. Not only is people-pleasing behavior destructive, but it also eats away so much at who you are and who you become. And this in turn ends up creating a lot of symptoms. Initially, you heard from me that I'm not the type of therapist that will simply place a label on one of my clients. What are these labels? These labels are symptoms of depression, symptoms of anxiety, bipolar disorder, or in personality, it's the borderline personality. Those that are so afraid of rejection and criticism that actually will go into self-destructive behaviors because they are so afraid of being left behind or being left alone. And in the opposite end, we have the narcissistic personalities. Many of those we don't see in the therapeutic setting because they have this firm conviction that they alone are good enough and they don't need absolutely anybody else. However, every human has three needs. We need to feel loved, we need to feel seen, and we need to feel heard. And if those three needs for human connection and interaction are not met, it greatly begins to affect our identity. So those symptoms that I just mentioned are symptoms that can actually, through healing, go away, believe it or not. You don't have to live with depression. You don't have to live with anxiety. You don't have to live fearing connection with others. Those are things that you don't have to live with. However, it's necessary to go through a process of healing so that you can come to terms with saying goodbye to all those techniques, to all those characteristics and symptoms that up until today have functioned. They have actually served a purpose. And as you begin to learn new techniques, you begin to replace those behaviors with something that actually leaves you feeling fulfilled. So Roxanne, I don't want to live with these symptoms. What can I do about it? Great question. What can you do about it? The first thing that I'm going to ask is that you complete a Sorensen self-esteem test. I will go ahead and add a link below so that you can go ahead and click on it and be truthful with yourself. Keep in mind, if you don't have the capacity to be truthful and vulnerable with yourself, you don't have that capacity to do it for anybody else either. Go ahead and check to see where are you on this scale of self-esteem, mild, moderate, severely low. Where are you? Be truthful and be honest with you. Another technique that I greatly encourage you to do is to begin using I am statements of that you would like to become. For example, if often you say to yourself, I am not good enough, go ahead and replace it with what do you want to see in yourself? I am valuable. I am good enough. Spiritually speaking, I am a masterpiece. I am above and not beneath. I am the head and not the tail. I am. Be very mindful of those I am statements, because that which you speak about yourself is that which you will bring into existence. So use the I am statements in your favor. Reduce the level of hypercriticism and begin to exemplify compassion towards yourself. Because believe it or not, up until this point, you have done the best that you have been able to do. And it is okay to simply say, you know what, self? Thank you. You've simply done the best that you have been able to do. But you're in the process of evolving and transforming yourself into a healthier you. And I can't wait to see who you become. Go ahead and incorporate these 3 things. Gratitude journal. One more thing. Incorporate a gratitude journal. In the morning and at bedtime, say to yourself 3 things that you are grateful for. And it's amazing what you will trick your brain into doing for you. Your brain will actually begin to produce a chemical that we know as oxytocin. And that oxytocin helps you to feel better without you doing anything extra. You're simply helping your brain to help your body to heal. So without further ado, these are the challenges that I leave to you for this week. Work on you. Make yourself somebody that your future self will turn back and say, I'm proud of you. Remember, trauma is real, but so is healing. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Go ahead and subscribe. And please make sure to look at the video of inner child wounds, because this one and that one go hand in hand. Until next time, I will see you for another session of learning and healing together. Thank you.